Does my depression make me not want to exercise? In this video, I'm going to answer that question for you. I'm not only going to answer it, I'm going to do my best to educate you and help you understand how your mind and mood is impacting your behaviours and how your behaviours in turn are impacting your mind and mood. I'm also going to share a number of powerful psychological and behavioural tools that you can use to help you get motivated despite your depressive symptoms, help you get motivated to start exercising, which in turn can help improve or alleviate the symptoms of your depression. Before I proceed, I want to make it very, very clear that I am currently in training to become a psychotherapist. That does not mean I am fully qualified at the moment. I would encourage, if your depressive symptoms are becoming somewhat unmanageable, to reach out to a mental health professional to seek support for it. Anyways, I'm going to proceed. I want to kind of share with you a bit of psychoeducation, as I already mentioned, using the cognitive behavioural therapy model. So the CBT model tells us that our thinking impacts our mood, and our thinking and mood can impact our behaviours or actions, and our behaviours and actions in turn can impact our mind and our mood. Let me give you an example. You wake up in the morning, you do not think or feel like going to the gym, so you skip the gym. As a result of skipping the gym, it doesn't have any positive impacts on your mind or your mood, so you think and feel worse throughout the day. So that's just a basic little example. Now, while the model tells us that our thinking and emotions can impact and do impact our behaviours, it's not a one-way system. So your behaviours can impact your mood, and your behaviours and mood can impact your mind. So you could be thinking and feeling okay, but you don't get up and do things that will ensure that you continue to think and feel okay. So you wake up in the morning, you're not thinking or feeling depressed, but despite not thinking or feeling depressed, you don't go to the gym, you don't do things that are good for your mental well-being. And as a result of not engaging in behaviours that are good for you, later on in the day, you can begin to think and feel a little bit depressed, or maybe the next day. So it's not a one-way system. Your behaviours can impact your mood can impact your behaviours can impact your mind, so on and so forth. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an understanding as to how your depressive symptoms can impact your motivation to get up and to exercise. What can you do about it? Well, I myself, a number of years ago, I was in a similar situation. I felt quite depressed. I did not want to get up and to exercise, and at this time I was empowering myself. I was learning about the workings of my mind to help me kind of overcome the issues that I had with my mind. And one thing I learned was behavioural activation. It's a behavioural kind of technique, falls into the therapeutic model of cognitive behavioural therapy. And to kind of simplify it, the way I put the behavioural activation tool into practice in my life, I asked myself, what do I usually do? What are the behaviours that I usually do or engage in when I feel really, really good? I spent some time and I wrote them down. I exercise, I meditate, I spend less time on social media, spend more time interacting with people and with friends. And then on another page, I asked myself, what are the behaviours that I usually engage in when I feel really low within myself? And the behaviours that I engage in when I feel, or I did engage in at the time, when I felt really low within myself, were behaviours that were on the opposite end of the spectrum in regards to the behaviours that I engaged in when I felt really good. So I didn't exercise. I spent a lot of time on social media. I didn't go out to friends as much. I didn't interact with family members. I kind of isolated myself. I spent a lot of time in my room, whereas when I felt really good, I spent very little time in my room. So once I done that, I then basically said to myself, although I do not think and feel like engaging in the behaviours that I usually engage in when I feel really, really good, I know if I do engage with them, with my understanding of the cognitive behavioural therapy model, which I just shared with you there, that engaging in these behaviours, although I do not think and feel like engaging in them, if I begin to engage in some of them, it's going to have a positive impact on my mind and on my mood, which in turn will make it a little bit easier to engage in more behaviours. So I'll give you an example. At the time when my mood was really, really low, I'd get quite angry, and I'd notice after I'd done that exercise and clarified the things that I do when I'm feeling really good versus the things that I do when I feel really, really bad. One of the things was jogging. So I remember one day I was feeling really, really angry, and I was trying to positive think myself out of my anger. It wasn't working, so I looked through the behavioural list. What do I usually do when I feel really, really good? Jogging. So I says to myself, right, I'm going to accept how I'm thinking or feeling. I'm not going to change how I'm thinking or feeling with my thoughts or with my feelings. I'm going to engage in some of these behaviours. So I went out, went on a jog. 5 minutes into the jog, the anger disappeared. When I got home from the jog, I was calm as a cucumber. So by activating these behaviours, it indirectly activated corresponding emotions and thoughts. So I thought and felt a lot better. So that's what I would encourage yourself to do. Spend a bit of time on, even though we're on one page, put a line in the centre of it. When I feel really good on one side, when I feel really bad, what do I do? And you'll notice a pattern there and begin to activate, as hard as it may be, as much as you do not think or feel like activating the positive behaviours when you're not feeling too good or when you're feeling quite low. Start activating them. Now, a second tip that I would encourage that'll really help you is prior to activating some of these behaviours and after, spend 5 minutes journaling. So let's say you're feeling really low, you look through the list and it says, right, jogging or a 30-minute at-home workout or going to the gym, whatever it may be. This is what I usually do when I feel good. Although I do not feel good now, I'm going to do it. Before you do it, spend 5 minutes jotting down your thoughts. How am I feeling right now? Do it, whatever the behaviour is. And then when you're finished doing it, come back to your journal and on the other side of the page of the diary entry, write down after. How do I feel after? And you will notice the more you do this with the behaviours, the more you will see a big difference. So this is how I'm feeling prior. This is how I'm feeling after. And it can also be helpful to come back to the journal that night, do another journal to see how you felt throughout the rest of the day as a result of activating the behaviour. And the more you do this, the more evidence you will build up for yourself that by doing this, it's going to have this effect on myself. For future reference, it will help you kind of get motivated to engage in the behaviour. So that's another tip that I would encourage. And then a final tip would be meditation. Meditation is very, very effective, not just for alleviating symptoms of depression, but also for other mental health symptoms such as anxiety, so on and so forth. A lot of the time when we are thinking and feeling a certain way, it directly impacts our behaviours. So a thought arises, comes to mind, and we believe that thought, we fuse with that thought, and that thought takes over our behaviours. So I don't feel like going to the gym, I don't go to the gym. I don't feel like meeting up with friends, I don't meet up with friends. We believe that we have to act on our thoughts. The reality is we don't. We can still engage in value-based behaviours despite how we are thinking and feeling, and meditation can help us do that by helping us kind of detangle from our thoughts, kind of detach from them and observe them and let them just come and go without them having too much of an impact on our behaviour. So I would recommend get into the habit 5 minutes a day of practicing meditation. It does not need to be complex. Literally 5 minutes, close your eyes, breathe in fully through your nose, exhale fully through your mouth. Focus your attention on your breath. At the same time, while you're doing that, you're giving yourself permission for your mind to drift off, for your mind to think, because that's what the mind is designed to do. You're not trying to achieve the impossible when you meditate. When you do notice your mind drifts off from the breath, you acknowledge it, you accept it, and you gently return your attention back to the breath and begin again. You don't beat yourself up for thinking. You don't try to suppress your thoughts or push them out of mind. You welcome them and accept them. And if you do that every day for 5 minutes, for 30 days, and then 30 days thereafter, do it for 10 minutes, it will help you to begin to act in alignment with the values or the behaviours that have positive impacts on your mind and mood, even when your mind and mood is encouraging you not to. So that's what I would encourage. And then one final tip or word of advice, as I already mentioned at the start of this video, if you are finding your symptoms unmanageable, please reach out to a mental health professional. There is a lot of hope. You can alleviate your symptoms, you can manage your symptoms, you can get your life back on track. Do not do it alone. If you feel that you can do it alone, be sure to do so, but don't be afraid to reach out for support. There's plenty of support out there. If I can help in any ways, I'll leave my email address below. Feel free to email me in terms of my fitness program, which also shares psychoeducational tools. If you feel that that may be helpful to you, there's a link in the bio as well. Be sure to check that out. So that's basically that. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to like it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for future videos, and to also let me know that these videos are making a difference. I put a lot of time and effort into them, so I greatly appreciate your support.